YouTube says I'm live, but I don't know if that's true. So I'm just gonna wait. I don't know, I'll give it 30 seconds or so. But it does say two people are here. Hello, two people who are here. Hi there, and hello, and to those who are watching later. But we will wait. I'm. Hold on. It's all good. I'll wait a few more seconds. Okay, so it's been 30 seconds. Let's say I'm live. Now it's been 33 seconds. Let's say I'm live. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore, as I was saying. Hello to those watching now, hello to those watching later. The internet, Bloodnose is here. Happy Feast of Tabernacles, aka Sukkot, the Feast of Booths, the Feast of the end of the harvest.
My birthday.
Yes, and go on. Really. Okay. And happy Feast of Tabernacles to you as well. Chag Sukkot. Zman Simchatenu, a time of our joy. That's its nickname. It has four names. It's the Feast of the Four Species, the Feast of Booths, the Feast of the of collecting the last of the harvest, or whatever it is that the earth yielded, and what is it? Chag Arbat Aminim, Chag Sukkot, and what is it? Zman Simchatenu, and time of our joy. No, there's a fourth one. Is there a fourth one? Likely there is. There are four names for Shavuot and for Pesach. It's likely that there's another fourth name that's eluding me right now, but I might remember it. So, Sukkot is the time when we start praying for rain. Sukkot is the time when the Torah, according to one tradition anyway, we restart it on the 8th day of assembly, Shmini Atzeret, right after Sukkot, the following day, the 8th day. So, let's talk about after the holidays, the high holidays. 40 days, Elul, Tishrei, and then the 10th of the 7th month of Tishrei, culminating in this wonderful, amazing Shabbat, Chag Kippurim. Did you give him the bottle?
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. Did you see if he had a pacifier?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. There's no internet. I'm using the 4G on my phone. I don't have 5G for now, but it is 4G. Yeah, I know. And the internet's not here, so the Q&A will be a little bit different. It's usually me broadcasting with this camera, but I have a monitor here where I actually can see the questions, skip back and forth. Oh, did I miss this? Did I miss that? But right now, there are constraints, and I am only on my phone. So I am, what would be the word? I am relegated, if you will, only to my phone. That's not the right word. Whatever it is. And so, yes. And so, let's talk about the holidays that were. Let's talk about Sukkot a little bit. So, like I said, the Q&A will be a little choppy, or I don't know what, I'll have to skip because I'm only on my phone, which means that I will only be seeing a few messages at a time, and I'll have to do, what? Because I don't have the monitor. But I do hope you will stick with me, because it's fun to have a Q&A live from Jerusalem. Oh, I hope he's okay. All right, so how was people who observed it? How was your Rosh Hashanah? How was your Yom Kippurim? The holiday of atonement, my favorite holiday. This time it was on Shabbos. And oh my God, do I love a Shabbat Kippurim. I love it. I really do love it. No better days did Israel have than Yom Kippurim and the 15th of Av. I was watching Seinfeld, says BMXers. Which episode were you watching and what are you apologizing for? Christelle, hello. Is it Christelle or... My king, bro, you good? Yes, I am good, Mr. King. How are you? It's good to be the king. How are you, man? And Christelle and Mr. King, where are you from? Where are you at? What are you doing? How has your week started off? Timongo is back in the house. Was the world created on 7th of October? Well, a different world was created on October 7th. That's for sure. That's for sure. What the head, says Danny Amaya. Hey, Danny. I also saw Beetlejuice. Ooh, you saw the second one. So how is it? I don't think I'm gonna go see it. I loved the first one. I loved Tim Burton in the 90s. I kind of tuned out later on, but there were so many good films. So many good films. Aliens created man. You know what, Chip Blue? I'm inclined to agree. Something may seem alien or foreign to us, but it's a natural progression of things. So what you call alien, I call being. Stop the genocide, Mr. King says. I agree. Hamas should stop the genocide, and Thank you. And Bashar al-Assad should stop the genocide. And people in Yemen, people in Sudan, and the genocide needs to stop. Thank you for standing with the IDF against Hamas, Mr. King. It is most appreciated. Timangwa says, what are the chances of WW3? I'm scared. Well, people say it's always in the making. We're always at some preliminary stage of World War III, so I've heard. I don't know if I agree with that. I have a very narrow view of things, which means that, again, like I say, by the time I hear or read news, it's already propaganda. It's not news. So I don't know really what's going on at any given moment. I can just deal with here and me. Egocentric, possibly, but I'm doing the best I can. Let's see. Hey, Senizer is here. Shalom, everyone. This last war is truth versus fiction. How do you see it as truth versus fiction? I'm curious. Soybean, hi Soybean, I'm in Jerusalem. Where are you at? How are you doing? Tell me things, educate me, enlighten me. We're still fighting the issues of WW2. I am inclined to agree with that. We definitely are still dealing with some of that. We're still pointing weapons of mass destruction at each other. Jimmy, hey Jimmy, is there room for Palestinians in Judea and Samaria? There definitely is room for Palestinians. It's not even a question of whether or not it's a country, it was made up, whatever. The people here, there were other people here, Muslims, Arabs, which means that... World War. Which means that if they were here, by all means, side by side with the Hebrews, let's live together in peace. Let's make it happen. Hi from India, or I am from India, says Soybean. Yes is here as well. You seem like a wild donkey. Oh man, you have no idea. You haven't seen my back kick. You haven't seen the way I chew on bales of hay, right? They eat hay, right? Or am I thinking of horses? Whatever it is. Yes, I am indeed a wild donkey. I am also a wild turkey. I'm a wild card. I'm a wild...
chicken.
I am not a wild chicken.
Show them how you cluck.
This guy.
Show them how you cluck.
Jimmy says, why are you trying to ethnically cleanse them? Well, the fact that the IDF and the government make mistakes, obviously, but to say that we are ethnically cleansing anybody is to ignore history, facts, logic, and if you choose to ignore history, facts, and logic, we have no common ground at all, I think, and so the dialogue would be futile. But I think that from the way the IDF has been operating, again, not without errors, to be sure, and there are malevolent people on all sides of every conflict. However, by and large, considering the civilian population, let's say, it's been growing exponentially ever since, definitely, for decades at any rate, ever since the inception of the State of Israel, and prior to that. So I don't see the genocide there. Second of all, if it was really indiscriminate genocide, we would be going after civilians. We're not going after civilians as far as I know. That's the IDF and the government and the military and the security forces going up against terrorists, embedding themselves in the civilian population. That's the way they roll, because every Palestinian death is a victory for Hamas. So they will fight until the last Palestinian. But once again, definitely mistakes have been made by the IDF, the security forces, intelligence, the government, whatever branch of whatever authority, institution, establishment. It's a state. It's not without error. So that's what I have to say about that. Are you a teacher? No, I'm here to learn along with you people. I am not.
Teacher.
Yes, I've been told that I ought to be a teacher. I've been told that I look like a teacher. But no, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a dumbass in the Middle East. Thank you. Your settlers think otherwise, Jimmy says. Agreed. As I said, there are malevolent people on both sides, and I'm not tarring all of the settlers with the same brush. Far from it. But definitely there are people who want to swim in Arab/Muslim blood. There are people who are more warmongering than others. There are people who are inclined to, have the end justify the means, and people who are a lot of the times, very religious zealots, right? And I understand their passion, but that's why I took the step away from organized religion myself, precisely because of such things. So I agree, some settlers definitely do not think the way I think. Many people, I suppose, do think the way I think. I'm able to find common ground with a lot of folks from all over the world. So I'm thinking that there is some merit, at least to that. But are there extremists? Obviously there are extremists. I'm only 10, says Danny. Amaya, that's a great name. I first came across the name Amaya back when my kids were watching PJ Masks, right, the TV show. And Amaya is Owlette. And I thought to myself, well, dang, Amaya is a pretty name. I don't know if I would name my daughter that, but it's definitely a really pretty name. At some point, I think I even obviously looked up the meaning. It escapes me right now, but I looked it up and I liked the meaning as well. So Nezer says, blessed are the peacemakers that shall be called children of God. Indeed, Extreme, the band, in the 90s, they had an album, 3 sides to every story. When they released it in the early 90s, 93, 94, something like that, I'm not exactly sure, but something like that, so many other amazing albums came out at that time that they were kind of overshadowed, 3 sides to every story, Yours, Mine, and the Truth. That album is wonderful. The reason I mention it is because one line there in the, what is it? Is it the opening track, Warheads? Blessed are the warmongers. They shall be called sons of God. So Nezer says to Jimmy, everyone claims theirs will be, but because... Oh, okay, well, he's reacting to something Jimmy said. Mr. King says, of you belief in one God, then tell me, do you believe you are superior? No, I believe I'm very inferior to most things, and I'm not superior to anyone but hopefully who I used to be. There's absolutely nothing to do between my faith, belief, or any of that to feelings of superiority. I've lived long enough to know exactly how much at the bottom I am. So no, believing in one God doesn't make one superior or inferior. They are what they make of themselves. Now, whether or not people use organized religion, not belief in one God, but organized religion to feel superior, that's another thing. You know, the Israelites are called, right, Am Sgula, a people of quality, a certain quality, a people who were selected. That doesn't make us better than anyone else. It simply puts the burden of Torah and commandments on us. That's all that does. And if people do, as I've said before many times, take on that, oh, we're the chosen ones, then back it up. Put your money where your mouth is and walk the walk and talk the talk and be able to back it up with actual deeds and dealings and doings. Simply to say, oh, we're chosen, so we're better. Sorry, that doesn't fly. Not in the least. Nice star on your shirt, wink, wink. Yes, my woman got this when she ordered some Jeffree Star mystery box or something like that, and the shirt did not fit her, but it fit me. So I'm wearing a Jeffree Star t-shirt. I am not a makeup artist. I don't follow him on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with him. But a few looks that my woman showed me at the time when she was doing more makeup that he did and that he was wearing, I thought, damn. And it seems that he's got quality stuff. So I'm enjoying the shirt. Quality of killing innocent civilians, says Mr. King. Innocent civilians die in war. It has been true to every single war ever, pretty much. And in the modern age, if you take, especially with urban warfare, if you take the number of casualties to combatants, then you can see that the current war is seriously misrepresented in so many places in the media. But obviously innocent civilians die, particularly when Hamas says, hey, you, family of hardworking people who just want to live their lives, how about if we just go in there and put a rocket in your room? We're ready to go. What do you say? So, or how about if we give you a hostage or two to keep? Yay! Fun!
Not for long.
Chimangwa says, how will we know Messiah is here? When we crown him, when he is anointed. There are many potential messiahs at this very moment all over the world. People of the tribe of Judah, people of the line of David, or not, from a different line, from a different tribe. While it's true that the final Messiah is said to be Ben Yishai, the son of David, anybody, right, can be from any tribe, can be king. So, many potential messiahs exist, but do we merit them? Will they be revealed to us? Hayom im bekolot ishma'u. Today, if you hearken to his voice, we are, it says in the Psalms. Kyle, hey Kyle, nice to see you again. Explosive ordnance don't discriminate between combatants and civilians. Yes, and once again, for many years, you can look this up, we had the knock on the roof method, and leaflets and text messages saying we're going to bomb this place, there are terrorists there, clear out. Sometimes the situation does not allow it, and we did this for years, many years. Terrorists got out and we bombed empty buildings, so many empty buildings and headquarters and in different ready rooms and I don't know what. It worked, I suppose, for a time, and it minimized civilian casualties. But when Hamas declares war on Israel so blatantly, openly, brutally, and indiscriminately, truly, then Israel must respond. And when Hamas embeds itself from the onset in civilian populations in order to gain that lovely propaganda of dead women, children, and innocent men, women, and children, that's what's happening there now. So the Gazans need to cleanse themselves from Hamas. Hamas needs to go bye-bye. The Gazans need to actually invest in themselves instead of having their money stolen by terrorists who want to make their bank accounts, larger, fuller. Okay. You oppressed them for years, expelled them from their land. No Jews and Gentiles, Hebrews and Muslims lived here in this land. There was always a presence of Jewish people in this land, other people as well. Like I said, by all means, stick around side by side in peace. The problem is that over time, many decades, and before the state of Israel ever came to be, the animosity, like the modern-day state of Israel, the Third Kingdom, if you will, the animosity between the Jews and Arabs, or Jews and Muslims, it was here way before the State of Israel, way before the Balfour Declaration, way before the mandate really took hold. So don't give me that. That is completely untrue. As for settlements and expansion, that I'm willing to discuss. Perhaps less expansion. I don't know the security risks too well. I'm not versed in them. I don't know the history that well in the sense of settlements per se. I will agree that there is, perhaps for security reasons, but people don't care about that, expansion of settlements. That I am willing to talk about, because I would want the indigenous Muslim Arabs here, whether they come from Egypt or Jordan, people call them Palestinians, fine. Let's call them Palestinians because of Palestine. Let's call it that because the Romans called it that. Let's go with that. They have a place here if they want to live in peace, but Palestinian leadership, very corrupt and terrible Palestinian leadership, not that Israeli leadership is without faults, oh my God, but corrupt and religiously blind Palestinian leadership has rejected every single offer that has been put on the table. Many generous offers were put on the table. Things they wanted to a great degree, and they said no, every single time. They are perpetuating the Palestinian refugee status because they want to make bank on the backs of innocent Palestinian men, women, and children. That's a very sad truth. And when Hamas came to power, elected democratically, they lynched Fatah members, they cleansed the Gaza from Fatah, and and Fatah now exists more in Judea and Samaria. This is their way, and their goal is a Muslim state, a caliphate, right? A Sunni caliphate, if I'm not mistaken, from the Jordan River to the Sea of the Mediterranean to the Mediterranean Sea, and top down, whatever, strange charmed. Hamas wants all of it, not a bit of it, all of it. The Palestinian Authority, the PLO before that, Yasser Arafat, not a little bit, not most of it, all of it. And if you Jews could die along the way, leave us stuff, that would be great. Okay, let's continue here. Jimmy says, 759,000 expelled from the land at Israel's inception. Some of them were expelled. Many of them were told to leave by the surrounding military leaders and Arab leaders who said, go, 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 leave. We'll cleanse the area of Jews. You'll be back in 3 days. You'll be barbecuing by the weekend. That didn't work out too well. But definitely there were certain times when the IDF, security forces, took over a place. Definitely. But the majority they left of their own accord, or were told to, because it's a war zone, or they were told to leave and they'll be back in a few days after all of the Hebes are dead. It didn't happen that way. And then they start a war, they lose a war, they cry about it. And, lather, rinse, repeat. Now, once again, I'll always make this caveat. The state of Israel, Israel's military and defense forces, everything, they've made mistakes. They continue to make mistakes because they are human, and they are an establishment, an institution, and it's a government, and it's an acting branch of government, and they are not without mistakes. But I am here in Israel, and I have served in the IDF. I don't regret it for a second. As a field medic and an infirmary medic, I treated Muslims and Jews. I treated security prisoners and IDF regular prisoners. I've treated young folk who just joined the army, and I've treated very, very senior officers, in age, not in actual seniority, in the sense of high up. But, on my base. I did not discriminate. Okay, let's continue here. You're being dishonest or willfully blind. I've been told that many times. I agree. I am being willfully blind, likely, on many things. Dishonest, no. What I'm speaking is completely and 100% honest. It's not truth, mind you, because what is truth? But it's honest. And like I say, by the time news gets to me, it's already propaganda. Left, right, center, whatever it is. It's already propaganda. I call it like I see it. I've seen it in civilian life. I don't follow the news too closely. I've seen it in civilian life. I've seen it in the military. So I've been around. Not extensively, but fairly extensively. BMXers says, he's ignoring everything regulars say now, so let's just go away. BMXers, my man, this is not the first time you've said it, and that is completely wrong. But, however, I will address it. First of all, by all means, you don't want to be here. Obviously, nobody is forcing you to be here. If you feel like I'm pushing you away in some way or ignoring you actively, then don't stay here. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. I'll leave it at that. Right? And once again, I'm on my telephone and the monitor is not operational, and so I can only see them a bit as they come in. And so I'm skipping a lot. If you don't like it, my bad, but I'm going to continue doing it. He'll read it all later, he says. So, I'd love to do it later, or a technician is supposed to show up on Friday. I don't know if the internet will be fixed by then or not, or at the time, but hopefully at that time, and after the weekend, after Shabbos, I will be able to go live and have the monitor here and go one by one, or skip a bit more, go forwards. With the Q&A as it appears on my phone, it's a lot more, it's more difficult, and so I want to just be more dynamic here, as long as it's only on the phone. But please leave. Nobody needs to be here. Nobody should be listening to me. All of you, go away right now. I'll wait. All right, let's continue.
Let's stop the recording.
Did David exist, Himangwa asks. Good question. It's likely that he did, and it's likely that he didn't. It's likely that he did in the sense of, people say there was no unified kingdom before it split. I don't know all the archaeological evidence, obviously. I don't know the history. I know it, surface level. And it doesn't matter to me one way or another. Did he exist? Likely, yes. But it could very well be that he didn't exist, because people like King David, they are the embodiment, if you will, of a divine attribute. And David personifies that kingship, which is why we say David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam. David, King of Israel, exists and is alive and does exist. Because that spirit of David, if you will, is here, and it's a certain divine attribute that we want to come near. And it comes really into the physical world with the anointing of a king sitting on a throne. In Melech Belo Am, there is no king without his people. And so it could very well be that he didn't exist. But even if David, son of Yishai, the Messiah, king, poet, warrior, if he didn't exist, and yet the story was still canonized in the Bible, it means that there's something there that says to me, learn from this about the future. Consider it a story that was passed down for many, many, many generations. Tweaked here and there for sure, and we can see this with the book of Samuel versus Chronicles, and differences there, what they chose to emphasize, what they chose to leave out, things of that nature. There's an agenda behind a written word, right? And where is it directing me to? It's always directing me back to the 5 books of Moses. So when I read the Chronicles of David in Samuel or Chronicles, I remember always, I'm cognizant of the fact that this was canonized to point me back to the covenant of Torah. What can I learn about the way that I am trying to live my life with Torah and commandments? King David, his sin, did he not sin? The Talmud, right? It's the way that he went about it, but the goal itself was, at any rate. So did David exist? I say yes. And even if not actually as he's portrayed in the Hebrew Bible, it's that type of story, because it's there to teach me something about the nature of divine kingship, the divine attribute of malchut, and of what it means to be living, what it means to be a warrior, what it means to be a poet, what it means to be a king, what it means to have a messed up family. Ay. Yes, says, saying that we defeated his sons, another older tablet writes Goliath, but as two words. Saying that we were... is this continuing something you said before? Because I'm not sure. Hey, propaganda donkey, says Mr. King. You are ignoring my every comment. See, I'm looking at the camera, so you see me looking in your eyes, basically. And when I'm done blah, blah, blahing, ranting, raving, and spewing, that's when I look down and I read whatever's there. I am not actually actively ignoring things. Screw that, not gonna read that, let's go for something I like. No, I'm looking over here. I want to be engaged with you. Again, I want to be honest, and that means looking at you. And so I look down. You know what? I see people are a little bitter about the way that it's going down. So it has only been a half hour. I'm with a dilemma. Should I stop now? Or should I simply keep going because the silent majority is actually digging this? Do let me know. Do let me know. I have mint tea this evening, and I love it.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares? Who are you kidding? Everybody cares about mint. Maybe not my mint tea, but mint. Everybody cares about mint. It's good for so many things.
I'm talking about your tea.
Keep going, go on, always keep going. You are kind of stressed. Bless you, we'll be fine. Okay, yes, are you responding to someone else or, whoops. By the way, I dropped the thing. You can tag me, right, at Hebrew Nazarite, and then I think my name will be lit up. Someone, try it. Do at Hebrew Nazarite. Let's see if it works here.
Thank you, just do it.
No, I'm not going to start see, I want to talk to them. I'm not going to start popping up the keyboard and blah blah. There you go. Hebrew Nazarite with a heart. Thank you, Ludnose, most appreciated. So look, if you wanted to get more attention, I guess maybe do that. But of course then maybe all of y'all will be doing that and it would lose its meaning. But nonetheless, that is an option. You'll see a highlight in the peripheral vision on the bottom, right? Well, no, that's periphery. Anyway, periphery at the bottom, whatever it is. At the bottom, I'll see it pop up, or maybe not. But thank you for the vote of confidence. Okay, Kyle says, your performance so far is on par with regular streamers, which is below your standards. Interesting, Kyle. My performance. Do you see this as something performative? Below my standards. Okay, do tell me if it's on par with regular streamers, but below my standards. So what are my standards? What can I be doing better? Let me know. BMXer says, Jerry got a lot of chest hair right after he shaves it once, and he can't stop. And Kramer, look! Right. Right, he shows his nipples in the pic. I am not an animal. Love Seinfeld. Bloodnose says, BMXers keeps saying YouTube is blocking it. Oh, okay. Well, that might be another reason why I didn't see it, my man. See? Don't immediately blame me. I mean, you can blame me for sure. It's your prerogative. Ella is in his house. Hello, Ella. Did you know the Egyptians have a goddess called Ketesh? Means holiness. No, I did not. What was her role? What was her designation? Goddess of something in particular? Mr. King says, from the river to the sea, complete it, donkey. From the river to the sea, Gaza will be free of Hamas. Hooray! From the river to the sea, there will be peace. From the river to the sea, there is land. From the river to the sea, people are eating chili. From the river to the sea, people are having internet trouble. From the river to the sea, rock bands are still kicking ass. From the river to the sea, people are drinking tea, like you and me. Many, that may be. Splash Fuzz, hey, long time no see. Hello, Splash Fuzz, good to see you, man. Nice to see you, nice to see you. YouTube didn't block it. BMXers counters and says they did not block it. Well, again, you'll have to chalk it down to me actually trying to engage with the camera and look you people in the eye and not be like this. Jimmy says, one state, equal rights for all. I would go with that. If there was actual peace, sure, let's go with that. Peace is worth a lot. Israel, as a state, as a people, has done a lot. It's gotten them almost nothing, but more terror, more bloodshed, more horrible wars. Bloodnose says, regarding the pages incident in the pagers in the pockets from the liver to the knees. Oh, there he is, Bloodnose with the quick quip. BMXer says, I still don't know if you saw my video. Didn't leave a comment. Oh, I saw it when I was in the middle of something and I stopped to see it, but I couldn't leave a comment. My comment would be, I would have loved it if you would have given your review. It's nice to hear you react to it with noises and with yummy noises or pondering yummy noises, but a proper review. No, now you're doing that on purpose. Please don't. You know you're doing that on purpose. Right. So I'd love a review. Even a quick, I liked it, I didn't like it, it tastes like this, it reminds me of that, I didn't know it had this, read some ingredients, give us some nutrition facts. Ella says her name was, I started reading it, I will scroll down for this. Her name was likely developed by the Egyptians based on the Semitic word, Kuf Dalet Shin, QDS, meaning holy or blessed, right? Kadosh, Kodesh, attested as the title of El and possibly Atriat. I don't know what Atriat is. Could you enlighten me, please? I'm ignorant. Who is making sounds behind you? One of my kids who's playing solitaire. How you doing there? You lost? That happens.
3 times in a row, ready?
BMXer says, it's like people are scared to comment. They think I will blast them or something. I'm sorry, BMXers, is this you reacting to something else? Do you eat chestnuts? Yes, I do. I love them cold. I love them better warm. Armonim. Armonim, kapara. Armonim. That's chestnuts in Hebrew. Armonim. Plural. A baby was crying. Yes, another one of my kids. He is fast asleep. Surprised he's playing solitaire. Does he have any other games? Well, like I said, there's no internet right now. And his screen time is over, and he has other games. Why, before we played. No. Sit. Come on now. No, because it's not a video meant for kids. Yeah, we played Texas Hold'em before for half a shekel, and he beat me. He bluffed a couple of times, surprised me too, and we played Texas Hold'em. Love it. Hebrew Nazarite says BMX, but you said you just wanted to hear the noises and that I don't have to show my face. Oh, okay. No, not show your face, sure. I didn't say show your face. I said more of a review. Of course, the yummy noises count, obviously, but I would have loved more of a review. Splash was, wow, beating you at adult games. Indeed, however, first of all, he's 9, and I've beaten him in the last... several games we've played over the last few days. Yes, we love playing cards. When there's no more TV time, we turn to cards, and the occasional roughhouse session. Ella, how old is this goddess? Asks yes. Bloodnose says, I like, what is this? Oh, Parcheesi. I haven't played that in so many years. I like Parcheesi. The harder you try to win, the more likely you'll lose. I don't remember it at all. I think there is a board involved and cards, but I don't remember. I haven't played it in many years. There's a board game that has Hindu-Indian, that is, roots. Is that it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong about that. Okay, Ketesh Atriat is Asherah. I see. So what is it? Is it Asherah and Baal, the feminine and masculine deities, right? Am I right? I mean, there's Baal this and Baal that. So Baal has its incarnations, if you will. I see. So for them, that was Asherah. I hear you. I meant you didn't say, BMXer says, I meant you didn't say, Oh, no, I didn't say it. No, I guess you did what I asked for, so thank you, and I do thank you. Maybe I'll drop a comment later on, and I did enjoy it. It would have been better. But then again, if I didn't ask for it, and you complied, so thank you, I appreciate it. I used to play something with stairs and snakes. Yes, chutes and ladders, or snakes and ladders.
Yes, snakes and ladders.
Yes, sulamot v'nechashim is very good. Okay. Bloodnote says Parcheesi is very Hindu. It reminds a lot of it. Right, I remembered something like that, but I don't remember the actual game. Mr. King says, it seems you love your kids, but you act like an animal when it comes to Palestinian kids. I'm curious, how many Palestinian kids have you seen me rip apart, maim, shoot? How many? The answer is 0. My finger was on the trigger twice with adults, not kids. And twice I did not have to pull the trigger, I'm happy to say. Thank Yah. So, there's that. And once again, Hamas embeds itself for this reason in innocent civilian population and less innocent civilian population. And so take it up with Hamas. By all means do. There are casualties in war. That is a given. So either you actually turn your focus to Hamas and cleansing them from Gaza, or you can keep blah blah blahing. And I'm not saying you're not making any points, but these blanket statements mean absolutely nothing. A, because they're factually wrong. B, because they are ignoring. Well, let's leave it at factually wrong. As for animals, I'm pretty sure that the horrors of October 7th showed the world, those who cared to look. And I'm not saying they should mind their own, whatever. I'm not telling people what to do, but you saw precisely who the animal was in this scenario. Are there animal Hebrew people who want to bathe in the blood of Palestinian kids? Yes. Are they a minority? Yes. Are they a serious minority? Yes. I'm not the spokesman of Israel here by a long shot, nor the IDF. I call it like I see it. That's what I've seen. I've come across many Arab, Muslim, Palestinian children in my life. Not once did I attack them, bite their carotid artery, and, yank it out. So, again, give me something I can work with instead of making these blanket ad hominem statements. Sinizer says, what you don't know is Hamas and them are started by Israel. Okay, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Israel at one point was supporting Hamas. Hamas did not start as a terrorist organization. Hamas started, I think it's first started as a social sort of movement. Ironically, it started as more of a social movement, and then the militant wing of Hamas thereafter joined, maybe very quickly after. I know that it was terrorists. Hang on a second. Oi. Forget it. I know that definitely Hamas was started by people who were terrorists. Maybe it was the militant part of it that was started by them. At any rate, I know that Hamas for a while had both, and then it shifted to being, I think, primarily terrorism and not giving Palestinians any money to build infrastructure and, have them actually have quality of life. Because God knows, then they wouldn't be refugees anymore. Then they maybe would actually have to understand what Hamas is doing to them and get rid of them. No, we can't have that. Let's enslave the population. Let's let them keep the status of refugee while we get rich off their backs and build our tunnels and put it in our bank accounts. Okay. You are veiled from the info, but if you seek it, you will find it, says Sinizer. I'm definitely inclined to say that I will find things if I seek them. At some point, right, people say follow the money. So again, I don't deny that at one point, Israel was funding Hamas to some degree. I think they wanted to see a strong Hamas because they believed that they could buy them off, to put it very simplistically and simply. To buy them off, give them the money. Once they do invest in the society that they are governing, once they have that quality of life that's raised a little bit, maybe then, and this is known throughout the world, when people get more of a quality of life, a higher quality of life, then they start caring more about their environment. It's true in the sense of climate and whatever, and recycling and garbage disposal, and it's true also to the sense of let's see how we are living. We're doing better. Let's have our circumstances matched by our environment. Let's work towards a better future. We're doing better. Let's do it together. That's the type of mindset that comes with more wealth, of different types of wealth, financial, spiritual, mental. But when you are constantly being in a conflict that's perpetuated by master terrorists who don't want anything for the Palestinian people, but just for themselves and to obliterate Israel, their goal is not to properly govern with justice and with, let's say, mercy. Their goal is to obliterate Israel, and so all of the money is deferred to that, is referred, whatever the term is. All of the money goes there. Okay, let's continue. That's the willfully blind we are talking about. Yes, it is. But then the question is asked, my confirmation bias will definitely play a part because of the way that I grew up, how I grew up, where I grew up, all of that, the things I've seen. It means that I'm already coming with a lot of baggage. A ton of baggage. For the same reason that I won't open up the Quran and try to learn about Islam at this moment, for the same reasons, I don't know if my confirmation bias is too strong, especially now when we are in the middle of a war. And now maybe that's just being me, just copping out. Maybe it's me just saying, oh no, I can't do it, my confirmation bias will guide me wrong. Maybe it's an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse. Maybe it's an excuse. Like I said, I call it like I see it. And while the way I see the news is eventually propaganda, the way I do see reality is not propagandistic. Right. But, once again, there's the way I grew up, how I grew up, things I've done, things I've seen, places I've been, and that matters. It matters.
Things that haven't happened as well.
Modern-day settler colonialism, like I said, if you're talking about the actual settlements and expansion of the settlements, maybe then that will apply. If you're talking about the Hebrew people, the kingdom of Judah, coming back to Judea and to the kingdom of Judah, and right to the kingdom's territory, then by no means is that settling or colonizing. It is an indigenous people who had one kingdom, two kingdoms, coming back for a third kingdom. Like I said, modern-day Zionism started, you can say, in the middle of the 19th century. But biblical and Mosaic Torah Zionism of you will be kicked out if you break the covenant, and when you keep the covenant, you'll be let back, or you'll be let back and then keep the covenant because you're let back, however you choose to see it. That has existed for many thousands of years already. The covenant of Abraham exists for many thousands of years. If I'm not mistaken, the verses might be overruled by later verses, but people have told me in the Quran several times the land of the promised land, the land of Israel, is promised to Israel. Right. Okay, let's see. Sneezer says, your confirmation bias is certainly too strong for the Quran. It needs to be read with a pure heart. Right, I definitely do not have a pure heart. It's been through the mill, which means that when it comes to, let's say, expanding my knowledge on what is really going on and gaining the knowledge that is veiled from me, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can trust what I find, but I do know that definitely, without a doubt, the government is doing horrible things as well as wonderful things. The military is doing awful things as well as wonderful things. They exist simultaneously, and if I had to pick a choice, right, if I had to choose a side, that is, on what it is, I would say the majority is good and the minority is evil in both cases. But people choose to focus on the evil and the wickedness and the malice of certain people because it's better for the Jew-hating machine, for the anti-Semites, for people who consider Israel the big bad Goliath and the poor oppressed refugee Palestinians to be nothing but victims, and the people who set things up as victims and victimizers, oppressed and oppressors. I don't know if I can find common ground with people who are so dichotomous. I have no absolutes. I don't deal in absolutes, right? There's only one absolute, the Most High God, and I do not know the Most High God. All I know is how God reveals himself to me. God reveals himself in creation in the positive and the negative, in right and left, top and bottom, judgment, kindness, mercy. And that is embodied and that is personified, right, in us here as being the image of God, human beings. And as such, we have all of this and we contain all of this. And so, yes, in war, people die. In armies, even if they claim to be the most moral and humane army, and even if they do employ the most humane tactics unheard of in other warfare, war zones, and they will still be prone to error because they are humans, and because it's a war, and because it's an establishment, an institution, a military, and things happen, and awful people exist on both sides of every conflict. Allah says, war is not good for anyone. My grandfather fought in World War II. It affected him and his whole family all his life and continues to affect his descendants. No doubt, war is hell. It's just unspeakable human hell. To each other, I mean. Not with the kind of hell that some people think you'll have after you die, or, a ring of fire, not ring of fire, lake of fire, that whole spiel. Not that at all. It's that special kind of hell that humans inflict on each other, because they know exactly how vulnerable you are. Yes. However, there is a silver lining, because war is there. I pray for world peace. I pray for peace in the Middle East, starting right now, this very moment, Adonai. Remove the sword from this world. We will be able to get along. We will merit all wars and bloodshed taken away from the world right now.
You said
Amen.
blood what?
Bloodshed. Shedding.
I heard bloodshed earlier.
No, not bloodshed. If you have bloody shit, see a physician. That is not okay.
I mean, like bloodshed, people dying.
Yeah, that happens too, because you crap yourself when you die. Most often. But I digress. Yes, may there be peace, real peace, honest peace. The silver lining in war is that war is made between enemies, and war can bring peace eventually, which is why Israel needs to be the one to dictate this peace, which is why Israel needs to win, which is why there ought to be an Israeli victory right now when Hamas lays down its arms, Hezbollah lays down its arms, all right? All of the militants surrender, and we can start talking actual peace with the people who want peace, as opposed to terrorism, bloodshed, and wiping Israel off the map. And if the ideology does not die through de-radicalization, then it will be in a minority, because we need to de-radicalize Israel, and we need to de-radicalize Gaza, or Gaza, however you want to say it. De-radicalize both sides, and let's find the bridges to peace. And there are, because we are human. We are not all our governments. We are not all our leaders. We are not all. Some of us are pacifists. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Peace to all, it is within reach. Amen, Sneezer. I so ordered 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Jimmy says, occupied people have a right to resist. I agree that according to, let's say, the Geneva Convention and other sort of treaties and such, right? I agree that people have a right to resist. And that has to do with military folk, combatants, people in uniform. It does not say that you can knock down a fence and slaughter 1,200 or more, 1,400 innocent men, women, and children, or however, whatever the number was. It does say you can wage war on the power and on the military, the uniform wearers. By the way, you can't touch me, I'm a field medic. The Geneva Convention says that I need to do my thing. Or, was a field medic. Hopefully I won't need to rejoin. But no, what Hamas is doing is not resistance, it's terrorism. That's a very different thing. Right? Intifada means armed resistance, if I'm not mistaken. That I'm willing to accept. If it's against Tzahal, that's one thing. If you're blowing up buses and doing other things, that's not resistance, that is legitimate. Also, speaking of legitimacy, I am well aware that Israel does illegitimate things as well. Once again, that isn't the minority, the vast minority. There are legal folk all over the IDF, all over government, doing what they can for Israel to abide by international law in the government branch, in the IDF. They don't always succeed, obviously. So Nezer says, unfortunately, that is what it has taken to bring this war to near completion, to bring attention to all concerned in the Middle East. To bring attention to all concerned in the Middle East. Continuing your denial, says Jimmy, gladly, I will continue with the denial. What is it exactly that I am denying? You said that civilians are killed? I said yes. You said kids are killed? I said yes. You said that there's resistance? I said yes, they have the right to resist. I am actually agreeing with you. What you call, right, we agree in principle, but you see things as abiding by that, and I don't. So it's not denial. We see it differently. I don't think that's me denying it. Choose a different word. Jimmy says, blind, deaf, and dumb, but most do not take heed. I agree, I am blind, deaf, and dumb in many things. But you would be hard-pressed to find someone who, let's put it this way, Jimmy, where are you from? What are your sources? Where are you getting this from? Do you live in Israel? Do you live in Gaza? Let me know. Because if you don't, then you are already at a vast disadvantage. I'm telling you that. You can definitely not argue properly, I think, with someone who actually lives here, who's been a civilian, who's been a soldier in mandatory service and the reserves later on for almost 20 years, and someone who lives in Jerusalem, no less, who's seen its fair share of terrorist attacks. So tell me where you're coming from, because if you're just spewing, oh, denial, again, it's pointless, fruitless, futile. If you actually want to have a dialogue, you'll have to concede a thing or two yourself, because simply repeating slogans and statements, no, back it up. Give me history, names, dates if you can. I'll try and do the same. WD says who? Jephthah? Oh, what? I mean, Joshua? I'm assuming it's going to be Joshua. Joshua waged war without mercy and finished the war quickly, very similar to General Sherman in the U.S. Civil War. So I don't know much about the U.S. Civil War. But yes, Jericho, right, around 6 times, and then 7 times on the 7th day, and the horns, and then the walls came down. The occupation, the original Joshua and the Israeli army occupation of the Holy Land was brutal. Lo techayeh kol neshama. The Torah says, not a soul may live. Men, women, children. When it comes to Amalek, even livestock, even though Amalek is not one of the 7 nations that dwelled there at the time. Amalek is there, but it's not one of the 7 classical, let's say, promised land nations. We are meant to eradicate Amalek and all of its, all of its humans and all of its livestock too. So, regardless of whether or not, because it didn't, let's put it this way. Amalek, we don't know who it is now. I don't think that's going to actually happen. It's more of a spiritual idea, a metaphysical idea. I think the people of Amalek are lost, as far as I know. However, the idea, the notion, the concept of Amalek is alive and well, obviously. As for the 7 nations, the conquering of the promised land by Joshua was brutal and merciless. Truly. They killed nearly everyone. That is what that took. That was the one holy war, let's say, where God said, the land no longer abides their doing. I am kicking them out of that land. I'm giving it to you. Unfortunately, it can only be done with war. But later on, don't make it so you will be kicked out of the land, children of Israel. Don't do what they did, because right now they're being kicked out. So yes, I agree. The original war of conquest of the Holy Land, the land of Israel, the Promised Land, whatever you want to call it, Canaan, it was brutal, as most wars have been throughout the entire span of human existence. There's no shame or anything wrong, right, with admitting that. War is still frickin' brutal, however you slice it up. Even with the best intentions and the most accurate munitions. It's hell. It's awful. It's terrible. The one silver lining is that there may be peace at the end of this tunnel. And may Israel be the one to dictate peace through victory over the terrorists. No more Hamas, no more Hezbollah, no more Islamic Jihad, no more Fatah. These terrorist organizations need to they should all surrender right now, and we can talk peace. Okay, Wesley says, hi Wesley. He says, every instance in the Torah and the Old Testament where God is written of the Lord of Tsevaot. It is Jesus every time. Yes, I know, people who follow Jesus see him from the Bet of Bereshit to the Lamed of Israel. They see him in the entirety of Torah, the entirety of the Old Testament, as they call it, the Hebrew Bible. They see him Alpha to Omega. And I don't disagree, because there's no point in disagreeing. You want to see Jesus, you'll see Jesus in everything. If you consider Jesus to be Lord of Lords, King of Kings, divinity itself in some facet thereof, then of course it will be everywhere, much like creation itself is a divine revelation. People who consider Jesus to be part of the divine, actually, what we don't believe in the Hebrew faith, it means, by and large, it means that they'll see him everywhere. But I don't believe that. I believe, right, Jesus lived and died a human being. If that. Yesterday, for 1 hour, I opened the peace to all the world, then I shut it. Okay, who was affected and touched by this peace? Was it a short-term thing in the short time? Or was it something that was a short burst of openness that will like echo for generations? How do you perceive it? And you shut it. How did you shut it? I'm curious. Amen, says Wesley. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You were continuing something else. Okay, so he said, Jesus, you gave me bands. Wait, hang on, my back.
Yeah, how's your back doing?
Not as good, because I'm hunched over a little bit. I need to raise my camera. Give me a moment. I'm going to raise the camera just a bit. Here, this will do. Okay. Hey, I've been on for almost an hour. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. Thank you. I know it may not be the regular Q&A, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And in many ways, it is the regular Q&A. I'm sure, 15 people here, 6 likes, and seeing as how I made this segue into how much time I've been on, I appreciate those who are watching now, those who are watching later. I appreciate every like, every sub, every view, every comment, every chat, every thing, every engagement, your time, your kind attention. It does not escape me, and I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. It is awesome that I get to click, go live, and be here, and have the dialogue, and be with you good people. It's a wonder, and I'm happy to experience it here, directly, live, raw, from Jerusalem. Let's continue. Hey, my woman is on. Hey, woman. Nice to see you. Hi. Chicken, rice, and peace, says Ariel Marshall. Oh, chicken, rice, and peace. I don't eat chicken anymore, but yes, chicken, rice, and peace. Ariel said that. Black Jesus. Yes, that's right. Someone called me Black Jesus the other day on the night of Yom Kippur. Hey, IDF propaganda donkey, I am back. Hey, Mr. King, good to see you. I am an IDF propaganda donkey. It's not for everyone, but serving in the IDF has given me many benefits and advantages. I've been to places I never would have been, saw things I never would have seen, and I mean in a good way, not in a terrible way, but some of that also, obviously. People in uniform, my brothers and sisters, I am an IDF propaganda machine. But I don't turn a blind eye to its faults and its weaknesses and its inadequacies and its horrible things either. So, I appreciate your point of view, brother. We could definitely break bread, said Seek Truth. That right there, my man and women, that right there. That's what I'm shooting for more than anything, because when you have some common ground, then you can build out of it. But you gotta have something. Start with your own humanity, for crying out loud, if you can. Not everybody can. We're put in such constraints and under such horrible circumstances on all sides of these conflicts. We're all so post-traumatic as societies. It is messed up that this is our normal. It is messed up that so many young people are dying on both sides, and innocent kids and innocent men and women, and it's just mind-boggling that this is the norm. This is actually how Israel has existed. More focus is on it now because of this particular war, obviously, but this is Israel's normal. Israel has been in a technical and de facto state of emergency ever since it was established in 1948. Oi! Mr. King, do you condemn IDF killing innocent civilians? Yes, I do. May no innocent civilian die on either side of the conflict. May Sahal's bullets, mortars, rockets, bombs, and whatever, and shells, may they hit the target straight and true and eradicate all the terrorists. And I'll go even further. I don't want the terrorists to die either. I want them to surrender unconditionally. Then we can talk peace and de-radicalize them from their Muslim, jihadi, Islamist brainwashing. And they can live side by side here with us, perhaps, serving some time, I don't know, helping, volunteering, Lord knows what. But it starts with de-radicalizing both sides.
And more.
Mr. King, do you condemn Hamas, asks my woman. A good question, milady. Yes, Ema was here.
Zoe.
Okay. You see her name right there? Wesley says, only by telling the vision will that Jewish light in your belly restore the temple, your body. I agree. The body is the original temple. The body is that image of, oh, thanks, baby. I appreciate it. Oh, what a lovely, thoughtful, considerate child. Oh, that's much better. A nice pillow. My man. Many blessings. How tall are you? I am 170 centimeters, so pretty average for a normal dude. Many blessings to you, brother, says Rasing. And to you, Rasing, I'm assuming you're Indian. Seek truth. Sharpened shrapnel raining down. Shrapnel raining down? Wait, was that? Normal dude. Ay. Wesley continues, please say this out loud. I'll tell you what, I will. I saw green grass. I've seen my share of green grass too. In the vision from Yeshua. It means everybody saw this vision. Well, the earth has a lot of grass on it. I'll give you that. And interesting, what do you mean by everybody seeing the grass? I'm curious, what do you think it means? Do you mean symbolically? Do you mean that people had the vision where grass was planted in their brain? Does it still remain in the sounds of silence? Let's continue. Surely the people is grass. Ah, so there you go. So the symbolism is there. The people are the grass. So grass covers the earth as people cover the earth. And grass was grown on the third day, and the land sinned. It missed the mark on the third day of creation. And then we came from that earth. The connection between grass and between land. Adam, Adama, by the way. Man and earth. It's there. It's definitely there. Have you seen DreamWorks biblical films, Moses and Joseph? I think I saw The Prince of Egypt. If I'm not mistaken. Wait, did I? I finished my tea. All I have is water. That's cool.
Do you usually finish it?
Yes, I finish my tea usually.
Okay.
Russ Singh could be Jamaican. Oh, okay, cool, says the BMXers, because there's a lot of Jamaicans with Indian surnames. Interesting. Voila. What are some other Indian surnames that are popular in Jamaica? Oh, liquid oxygen. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Ariel says, I doubt one can categorize an entire continent's descendancy to one dude mentioned in a book, dude.
Can you stop with the dude?
Wait. Categorize... No, definitely. We're talking about, I don't know if you're reacting to someone who made a different comment, or if you're saying that with me, in reference to me. But if you're saying it in reference to me, then to categorize an entire continent's descendancy to be one dude. Right, so what? I'm assuming you're talking about, let's say, Kush, that's Africa. Jimmy says, conveniently you ignore the founders of your country trying to figure out how to get rid of the Palestinians. Let's put it this way. I have been told that there was this idea. Now, the Declaration, the Scroll of Independence, says unequivocally, we reach out for peace. So, to get rid of the Palestinians, perhaps that was something that was done during the War of Independence because I'm saying if that did happen, and that's the founders. You're talking about the founders. So according to you, if I'm not mistaken, you're saying that the Scroll of Independence simply wrote that it wants peace with our neighbors. But the leaders and the founders of the State of Israel did not want peace at all. They wanted to get rid of the Palestinians. In that case, if that's what you're saying, why didn't Israel complete the job when it won the War of Independence and completely murder and perform an actual genocide on the Muslim Arab population at the time? That would have been the thing to do if that was their goal. Why would they, what's the term, protract the situation over many, many decades and ongoing wars, conflicts, skirmishes, battles? Why on earth would they do that? They would take advantage, carry the leverage that they had, right, the momentum, and finish them off. So, really, are you listening to yourself, man? If the founders of Israel wanted to carry out genocide, that would have been the time. History completely contradicts what you're saying. The growth of the population of Palestine over the years contradicts what you're saying. And once again, speak straight and true. Don't speak in propaganda. But I agree, there may very well have been the idea of, hey, those people are acting as an enemy. Let's get rid of this enemy. I think that many people in many places, in many wars and conflicts and countries throughout the span of human history have thought the same thing. Did we carry it out? No. Did we have the option? Yes. Many times, currently still. No genocide is being carried out and performed on the Palestinian people, the people of Gaza, whatever you want to call it. None. Are people dying? Yes. Are innocent people dying? Yes. Are they casualties of war? Yes. Are they sometimes casualties of horrible soldiers in the IDF? Yes. Are they sometimes the casualties of horrible politicians and statesmen in Israel? Yes. That's the minority, the vast minority, I'll say it again, but it definitely does exist. So, once again, I'm not ignoring it. I'm agreeing with you. But you're still saying I'm blind, I'm ignorant, I'm ignoring, and yes, I'm all of those things, and you're still not touching the heart of the matter, nor are you bringing anything to contradict what I'm saying when I say these things that I agree with you. So come on, I'm not a debater, I'm simply reacting to you. And this is how you've caused me to react so far. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to engage, dialogue, learning with each other, right? Wake up, says Jimmy. I would like to. I'm in the process of awakening different facets of my being. Maybe, in time, I will be able to awaken myself to such a degree that I will be accepting everything that you're saying as straight up truth, holy gospel. And that's that. Do you live here, Jimmy? Yes, I asked him, but I didn't see. Maybe he answered, maybe he didn't, but there was a scroll. So somebody answer, my woman and me. Jimmy, do you live here? Did he respond before? Did he not respond before? Ricky says, Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, do you keep? Yes, I do. It is my favorite holiday in the entire Hebrew calendar. I love it. I adore it. The fact that it was on Shabbat, on Shabbos this year, is such a lovely embrace. And I dig it. I love it. Yes, I keep it lovingly, joyfully when I can. And, yes, devoting myself to the Holiday of Atonement is awesome when it's going on. I live in America. I'm not going to say game, set, match, because far from it. But I will say, come on. Come on. Yeah, man. Hey, you won? He beat solitaire, ladies and gentlemen. Took him some time. Jimmy says, my family came here after 1967 and were forbidden from coming back to live there. Yes, because the Palestinian, as you say, population kept on electing horrible leaders, or horrible leaders who were dictators took them over, different horrible causes, one after the other, terrorist attacks, terrorist organizations. And so we're thinking, you know what? the people here tried to annihilate us again and again and again. Maybe we figure that out before we let them come back en masse. And I'll say, if your ancestors were here in 48, there's something to talk about. If your ancestors were kicked out in 67 or whatever, there's something to talk about, definitely. Living side by side in peace. Palestinian civilianship and leadership has never wanted this. And if there was a majority that's silent, that has wanted this and does not want the jihadi war BS, nor the Israeli holy war BS, then they are not making a sound. Not a sound. There has been no positive Palestinian peace movement, right, that has gathered actual momentum because of Palestinian leadership that is very corrupt and wants to keep them refugees and take their money and give them the middle finger and put them in the line of fire, claiming that they are martyrs and holy people and oh, Allah loves it. So, who am I to go against popular opinion in Palestine? But from the outside, I'll tell you, I think that, no, there's a very good reason. Your enemy is an enemy until you make peace, and we will make peace through victory in this war. Many, many things in the peace process were on the table. The Palestinians rejected them every single time. And if the majority of the Palestinian people wanted it, and they did not do anything about it, then the silent majority is irrelevant. Of course it's relevant when it dies, especially for the Hamas propaganda machine. They love it. It's gold. For the actual peace process, it's horrible. Because it means that there wasn't enough of a majority to get a movement going. Or that any movement that did start did not gain momentum because the Palestinian leadership and terrorist organizations cracked down with violence and silenced anybody who said, let's work it out with the Israelis. Okay. Yes, says, I believe Esav at one point uniformed with Canaanites as well as Somalian Arabs. Now wait, when you say Esav, do you mean the descendants of Rome, modern-day Christianity, or do you mean actual Esau? Wow, you can't be that disconnected. See, that's where you're wrong. I have no internet. I have the 4G. I can be that disconnected. What? I can definitely be seriously connected. I'm the one who lives here. I'm the one who has lived here nearly all of my life. Now, that doesn't make me automatically correct. By a long shot. Excuse me, what? Yes, I know. That does not make me automatically correct, but it does give me a kind of view that is on the street, in the base, on the front lines, at the borders, that you don't have. So I'm thinking instead of spouting slogans and ad hominems, maybe you can open your mind to the possibility that because I'm actually agreeing with some of what you're saying, you could dispense with the propaganda yourself and address what I'm saying with more than just, no, you're wrong.
I just noticed it's 10:14. I'm gonna go to bed.
Light up, my dear. Sweet dreams. Love you too. Sneezer says, because you live on the stage, you believe the other actors. All right, can you dumb it down for me a little bit? I'm not sure how I'm supposed to perceive that. His descendants says, yes, his descendants, their last appearance was as people of the sea attacking both Egypt and Greece. Well, like I said, the history of, let's say, Esau, Egypt, and Greece, insofar as the ancient civilizations are concerned, I've only known it at the surface. Like I said, I'm no history buff, and I'm not an academic, I'm not a learned man, I'm not an educated man, right? I'm just a dumbass in the Middle East, which means that if that's when the trail goes cold, it means that somebody else took them over, 3 of them, 1 of them, and history was written by the victor, and which is why maybe the trail of Esau goes cold there. I know that traditionally, insofar as Orthodox rabbinic tradition is concerned, Edom is Romi, right? Edom, Esav, is Rome, is modern-day Rome. And so many people treat Christianity, even if it's not genealogically accurate, the spirit of Esau, the spirit of Edom, what people say, is in Rome and modern-day Rome. Now, in the year 70, in the Common Era, when Rome destroyed the temple, I don't think they were Christians yet. I think it was Emperor Constantine a couple of centuries later, or maybe I'm wrong, a century later, right? With the stigmata, if I'm not mistaken, right? The sign, and then he put it on their shields, and they won the war. I think that's when the shift happened. So it's not necessarily Christianity, but it's that whole thing. Where is there apartheid, asks my woman. A very good question. I'm assuming that you're reacting, milady, to something that he said before. Yes, as well as Canaan family tree. Wait, so you're saying Esau received no blessing, I believe. No, he did. He definitely did. Habracha achat lecha avi. He cries. Esav, after Jacob takes his firstborn blessings, as was his right, because he bought the firstborn blessings, and the rights and the merits and the privileges and the duties of the firstborn. Esau later comes and he makes his father Yitzchak the lovely dinner, and then Yitzchak says, wait, I gave someone the blessing already, and he will be blessed. And Esav says, do you only have one blessing, father? Bless me too, father. And he cries. The tears that Esav shed that day opened the gate to a divine attribute of kindness and mercy. And so, with Jacob getting the blessings, Esav was given the opportunity to even the score and bring it back to balance, as it were, as he perceives it. Right? Right? You live by the sword, and you'll you'll toil for your brother. And then when he doesn't do his job, then you, Esau, can swoop in, and then the balance of power will shift. But he definitely was blessed. Right, Mishmanei Haaretz. Okay, let's continue. My woman says, Israeli Muslims have civil and religious rights just like any citizen in our country. There are Muslim judges, doctors, academics, politicians, very much so. And in this current war, with so many people going off to the reserves, the Israeli Arabs, a majority of which are Muslim and some are Christian, have kept infrastructure, have kept institutions, establishments, and Wait, I'm sorry. Is your mother awake?
No.
She's asleep?
I think.
No, knock.
I knocked.
She's talking right here with me. She's not asleep. But, well, one of us needs to go to the kid. So, I will say good night and goodbye. I will see you, God willing. What is it? No, not tomorrow. I think, well, Wednesday evening is the Chag, right? Wednesday evening is the Feast of Tabernacles, of Booths. So maybe I will see you tomorrow for a live stream. Either way, I need to go. But this has been so much fun. I'm sorry to cut it short. I appreciate every like, every comment, every insight, every troll, every piece of propaganda that you spew here. And, the engagement is fruitful, it has merit, or at least we're trying to make it so, and I appreciate your time and your kind attention, your engagement, your contributions, your gems, your 2 cents, your quips and quick wit. And I will see you, God willing, tomorrow, or tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something started right now. Okay, good night from Jerusalem. God bless.